Hello students, today we are going to study about the remaining topic, that is forest laws and their impact. So here we have to study that the forest laws made by the British, which had created considerable effect on the lives of the tribals. First thing, that it created effect on the shifting cultivators. The British had created the forest laws. According to that, shifting cultivation was abolished. So shifting cultivators were not allowed to do the cultivation, but instead they were asked to do settled cultivation. Another thing that British had made, that was they had created some forest as a reserved forest. Reserved forest in the sense, the forest which was made for the timber, valuable timber. Valuable timber or wood was essential for British for building for Royal Navy and also sleepers for the railways. So for this purpose, British was in need of wood, and for getting wood, the forest in the village, forest in the tribal villages, which were made as reserved forest. Reserved forest in the sense, in this type of forest, the Britishers did not allow any tribal to collect forest goods from that forest. So collecting wood, collecting timber, collecting the forest goods, collecting the mahua seeds, this was not allowed. So completely it was not available for the tribals. This created lot of problem for their life. And later, British understood that when they created the reserved forest and they did not allow the tribals to enter into the forest, they understood the problem of getting labor. So laborers were essential for British to cut down the trees and to collect the log for shipbuilding industry and sleepers. So laborers, when they made some strict action against the tribals for entering the forest, it was not possible for them to get the laborers. That is why they had made the reserved forest, in which some of the tribal people, they got the permission to enter into the forest and to settle down there. So some patch of land was given to them to cultivate and to look after the timber. So this policy, for that purpose, they had made some forest which came to be known as the forest villages. So this type of forest villages were created by the British. When these forest villages were created, tribal people had to settle down and they had to look after the timber, and also they had to give the labor work. So for this purpose, forest villages were created. Next thing, that when these all policies were implemented, forest dwellers or the shifting cultivators or tribals, they got lot of problems. Their freedom was restricted, their movement was restricted, so which created some protest against the British. So that protest, one of the important remarkable protests which happened in Assam in 1906, and this protest was led by Songram Sangma. Songram Sangma, he had revolted against the British. So about their problems, when the problems increased, the forest people or the tribals were in revolt with the British. We have to study about how the forest laws made the problem for trade. Here we have to study, we had learned about how traders and money lenders were the enemies of tribals. The traders, they went to the forest, to the tribals, and they asked, they had collected some forest goods, offering very less charges, very less money for them, and also they made them as the laborers. So these tribals got many problems due to the traders. And during those days, main important item of trade of India from India to other countries, that was silk. Indian silk was very much famous. So when Indian silk had lot of demand, traders came to the forest villages or tribals where cocoon cultivation was popular. So one such place where we can see that Hazaribagh in Jharkhand, where Santal tribal people were engaged in cocoon cultivation or rearing the cocoon. So they had demanded from these Santals cocoon at a price of 3 rupees, 5 rupees per thousands of cocoon. And these traders, they had demanded 3 rupees or 5 rupees per thousands of cocoon, and they sold it in Gaya or Burdwan at a price which is 5 times or more than 3 rupees or 5 rupees. So this created lot of profit for the traders, but it was very much loss for the tribals. So when they charged very less to the tribals and they sold it at a very higher price, this created lot of problem for the tribals. Another thing that, so this when they came to know, so we can see that the agents who were engaged in this trade, they earned a lot of money, and the tribals who reared the cocoon, they got very less price. And another one more thing we can see, that was in the tea plantation in Assam. At that time, British were engaged in the tea plantation, or they had a lot of tea plantation in various places in India. One such tea plantation in Assam, where lot of laborers were in need. So tea plantations is a labor intensive industry where lot of laborers were needed. So British had made the tribals to work in the tea plantation, and also coal mines in Jharkhand, where they were engaged to work, but they were paid very less. They were taken from this Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh area to Assam or many other different places, but even though they were not ready, but they were paid very less charges or very less wages. And more than that, they were not allowed to return to their home. So very important thing, that tribal were too much difficult for them to live, that was in the plantation. They got very less wages and they were not allowed to return to the home. So these all created lot of tension in the minds of the tribal, which in turn resulted into lot of revolt in various places of India. So I have told you that many tribal revolt were happening during that time in the tribal societies or the villages. One such tribal revolt which took place in the Jharkhand area, or the place which is known as Bastar area. The revolt which was led by one of the important revolutionary, he was known as Birsa Munda, that we have learned few days before in the beginning of the lesson. We had learned about Birsa Munda in the beginning, and we learned that people considered, or the tribals considered him as the magical power. He has lot of magical power. He could even cure the sick people. He could even multiply the grains. We have learned it, right? Do you remember it? Otherwise, revise it. You will get it. So here, the same hero known as the Birsa Munda, he had an important role in the tribal revolt in the Bastar region of India. In the Bastar region, Munda tribal people were living, and in the year which in 1870s, Birsa Munda was born in a tribal society known as Munda society, to a poor tribal man, and his father was very poor, and he was working in various places as a laborer. He was appointed as laborer by the British in various places. So in such a family he was born, and when he was born, after that he went to the forest. He enjoyed his childhood in a very happy mood, dancing, singing songs with other tribal people. So he had enjoyed his childhood. Later, when he was adolescent, he had gone to a missionary school where he got education. So he had joined in a missionary school which was set up by the British missionary schools. So in the missionary school, he had learned about the good values, moral values from the priests. And in that, he had learned that if these people, if the tribals would become Christians by discarding or by leaving the habits of intoxicants, leaving the habits of witchcraft, cleaning the surrounding, then they can go to the heaven. Like that, a preach he had heard from the Christian missionaries in the missionary school. Later, he had joined with a Vaishnav preacher. He was a Vaishnav preacher. With him, he had associated with him, and he learned some moral values from the Vaishnav preacher. And from these people, he had learned many good thoughts or good values he had inculcated. Later, so he, when he understood that from the Munda tribal people had a long years back, Munda tribal people had a very golden days, very important days, or which were known as golden days in their life, where people were free. They were not from any oppression or any suppression from the British. They were moving freely. They were doing shifting cultivation. They were enjoying their life. They had their own culture. They had their own functions, etc. So when he understood, Birsa understood that he had learned or he had heard these stories from the elders. So later he had taught, or he had also taught the other people to follow, to bring back that golden age of Mundas. So we can say that he was against, but he was influenced by these people, missionary people or Vaishnava preacher, but he was against the Hindu landlords, money lenders and British, because he understood that these all people had exploited the tribals of that area. So when he became young, he had lot of followers. He had got many followers, and he preached them to bring back that golden days, and to bring the golden days and to follow their shifting cultivation or the old practices. So when his works improved, or he had got lot of followers, British thought that he is creating, or he was creating Munda Raj, means he was creating revolt against the British. So he was imprisoned, or he was arrested in 1895, and 2 years he was put in prison, and in 1897 he was released from the prison. When he was released, he went to the tribal villages once again. He visited everywhere, he roamed everywhere. He had seen what changes during the 2 years which brought. So he had got, earlier he had lot of followers, again he got them back. And he taught, again he started his preaching against the money lenders, landlords and also British. So he wanted to establish that free and golden age of the Mundas once again. So here 1895 to 1897, Birsa Munda was imprisoned, and when he was released from the prison, he went back to the villages. He roamed around and he found his followers. Once again he started his preach or his reform movement for the Mundas. But unfortunately in the year 1900, Birsa Munda was affected by cholera and he died. So, but his reform movement or his work for the upliftment of tribals was very much remarkable in the lessons of history. So here Birsa Munda was the hero who led the reform movement in the village known as Bastar against the British, against the money lenders, against the Hindu landlords. And to his work for bringing the Munda life before many years, for the golden age, to bring back the golden age, was very much remarkable.